Hi, thanks for joining me today. Have you got an adult stepchild settled in at home who's not moving out? What can you do? Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. When you've got an adult stepchild who is living permanently with you and things aren't about to change, what can you do when you're really wanting change? Well, if we're real about this, children can go on living in their parents' home. It happens. It happens all over the place. And in some cultures in the world, it's fully expected and considered normal. So here we're dealing with something that can be considered completely normal and acceptable. The only difference is that you are a step family and not a genetically connected family, and this makes a huge difference because what you want as a step parent is quite likely to be not to have your stepchild living with you. If you don't mind your stepchild living with you, then there isn't a problem. But it's when they are that this can become a real issue, and you can be made to feel the one that is wrong or should be accepting it, or what on earth is the matter with them living with us. However, it's not what you expected or wanted, and now you're stuck. It's kind of, the deal is get out and bust the family up, or put up with this situation which you really hadn't expected was going to happen. It wasn't your expectation. You expected to partner or marry somebody who had children, but ultimately you would be the number one relationship, and ultimately you would be a couple living together, enjoying each other's company. And it does make a difference if you're sharing your home with a child, even though they're a grown-up child. The problem is, what can you do about it? And I know this is talking about the past, but I always think that there's a time in life for everything. So there's a time in life to go to school. There's a time in life to take your exams. There's a time in life when you're having fun with your friends. There's a time to settle down. There's a time to move out of home and make your own way. And life has stages, and if you miss a stage or don't do what you're supposed to be doing in the stage you're in for the age you are in your life, then it can be very difficult to recapture that time later, and often it doesn't happen. So if you don't finish your education, you often never finish your education, or it's a much more difficult thing to finish your education if you're a lot older. If you don't move out of home when it's kind of normal to move out of home in your 20s or late teens, then often you get stuck and never move out of home, and you just sort of miss the opportunity, and then it doesn't happen. So you, as a step parent, in this situation, faced with a child that has missed their opportunity to strike out on their own, and nothing much can change or may change in the foreseeable future, this happens. It happens. But what can you do as a step parent in this situation? Well, if you try and argue it out, if you speak to your partner about it and say you're unhappy, if you have words with your stepchild and say, you're not that happy, the chances are, and you may get your way, and they may respond to that, and the child moves out and you've sorted the problem. But more likely is that you'll get pushback. You know, your partner will say, well, what's the matter with it? And I want it, and, you know, like it or lump it. And the child may give you pushback as well. So where does this leave you? Well, it leaves you with leveraging everything else around you. Because often it's not you that will change their minds, but what the other things that are happening in life that will change their minds. So it's the influence of their friends. It's what their friends are doing differently and having more success or a better life because of it. It's the social situation. It's what's acceptable in the community, or other things that are happening in their lives, like changes in their routines, changes in their interests, changes in their work arrangements, work opportunities. It's those kinds of external influences on your stepchild's life that you can perhaps leverage to get change inside the home. And the secret here is to make the most of absolutely every opportunity that comes your way to ease them out of the situation that you find yourself in. That is what is available to you. So you've got to use external leverages to change the situation. And your job as a step parent is to spot these leverages and promote them, persuade your partner and stepchild that it will be better for them if they do it differently, or change what they're doing, or change their living arrangements. It's those kinds of things that you need to employ to get change. And the secret to this is to work it out in your head before, which is that you want your stepchild to leave home, and then look for opportunities that come their way, your way, the household's way, and make the most of those when they come along. And one day, completely by surprise and unexpectedly, they may announce that their life is going to change and they're going to do something else. That's your best bet. I'm not sure what else is available to you. We run workshops, sessions, an email response service, and we write booklets. Look at the description box below for links to our social media and website.